This week we begin the annual reading of the book of Bamidbar. In Hebrew, Bamidbar means in the wilderness, and it is about the years of wandering, not all of them, the beginning and ending years of the wandering of the Hebrews through the wilderness. And the book is characterized by two things. One thing is the continued challenges to Moses and Aaron's authority, and the other is the fact that census counts are taken, counts of each tribe, family, each group within the household of Israel, and they're numbered for the purposes of, the purposes that any government takes a census for, to understand how many people they have, to know how much of a military force they could raise. It is because that subject permeates the book of Bamidbar that the rabbis called it Sefer HaPikudim, the book of counting, and that, of course, gave rise to the Greek name numeroi, which in English we translate as numbers. Both the idea of numbers and wandering in the wilderness are relevant to the course of the book. The book starts out with God instructing Moses to count the people of Israel. But who is he counting? It's not a census count in the sense that we do that today, but it is a census count of households, of individuals who represent families. And the book specifically tells us that people are to be counted from the age esrim umala, from the age of 20 and up. It appears from the book of Numbers that the biblical age of majority is 20. We know that throughout all human civilizations, all known human civilizations, depending on the place and the purpose, the age of majority is considered somewhere between 18 and 21. By 21, most societies agree that their members are responsible for themselves. But Rabbi, what about bar mitzvah? Bar mitzvah is a recognition of the fact that the child has reached a certain amount of knowledge and that the parent is no longer in total control of this now newly minted teenager, and so God does not assign the sins of the child to the parent anymore. The child becomes responsible for himself or herself, but is in no way in Jewish law a full legal adult. The interesting part of this is the question of how we approach Jewish education. In many communities, Jewish education stops, not at bar mitzvah, but perhaps at confirmation, somewhere in high school, or even at the edge of high school, at the end of high school, with a fewer amount of programs available to our college students. I think the book of Numbers has something to tell us as adults running the Jewish community. It has something to tell us that we have to put as much effort into the education of our older children as we do of our younger children, that we're not really ready to let them fly on their own as Jews until they are at least the age of 20, as the Bible prescribes, or the age of 21, as most American laws prescribe. Now, in our congregation in Temple Emanu, we do an excellent job of promoting, supporting, and conducting wonderful programs for our children until they leave high school. But the question is, for all of Jewish community, the question is, how do we continue that all through high school and through college as well, so that in the end, once they are past the age of 20 or 21, our young people, as they become adults themselves and have their own families, will also be counted in the household of Israel, not only in their own lifetimes, but that their families will count for generations yet to come. Have a great week and a wonderful Shabbat.